Those of you in the know may be aware that of recent the channel has been a little bit quiet. Very recently I took part in what was coined the first Drag King reality TV competition, which took place entirely on YouTube, thus making it not a TV competition. Any person could say how they would do something were they given the chance. It's pretty much what most modern entertainment is based on, the idea that you can sit there and watch it and say, oh, if I was doing that, then I wouldn't have done it that way. Very much why the Olympics continues to get the viewing figures that it does. Anyone can say, if I was doing it, I would do it differently. Anyone can say, if I was running my YouTube-based worldwide Drag King competition, I would do it differently. It is far more difficult than most people realise to organise anything on YouTube at all, let alone something that involves participation from 12 to 13 different people, judging of those, putting them up at a scheduled time, making sure that YouTube doesn't just eat the video, which, by the way, does happen sometimes, and then making sure that, you know, it all actually processes correctly and it doesn't get flagged because it used 2 seconds of a song that no one has really cared about for the last 6 years, least of all the people who wrote it, but God forbid Sony BMG should miss out on the opportunity to penalise someone for daring to like their music. I mean, after all, there's a reason those types of reality TV shows usually exist solely on TV. They require a TV budget. They require the ability to take all of the contestants away from their day-to-day lives, put them in a contained environment and film that contained environment a lot of the time, and make sure that there are no interruptions, no hassles, no outside influences making it unfair. Which brings me back to this issue of anyone can say they can do it. True, anyone can. Anyone can try to do it. But it is far more difficult than a lot of people realise to make YouTube work the way you want it to. I've been running not just this channel, but other channels as well, going back probably about 7 years now. It's not easy, and YouTube itself as a company is trying very hard to make it less easy still, purely because they are a company and they need to make profit. So you're not going to see whatever you want in your suggested videos. You're going to see what YouTube wants to see in your suggested videos. You're not going to be able to upload whatever you want at whatever length you want to whatever country you want. Because it's a company. And certain countries don't allow certain content, and they would get sued if they did. Certain companies want all of their material copyrighted with extreme prejudice, and YouTube would get sued if they allowed it. I think a lot of the feedback that has been levelled against King Me as a competition is unfair, in as much as no one has done this before. There is no cheat sheet, there is no let's follow this theory, let's follow this format, because you can't. You can't apply a TV format to YouTube any more than you could apply a film format to a book. It doesn't work, they're different things. That said, I personally have an experience in the production of various scales of things. I have been producing YouTube content, I've been producing stage content. I've looked very in-depth into the production of television and theatre and all these different things because I enjoy looking at it, and I would love one day to have a hand in the production of this sort of thing. And it is far more difficult than a lot of people realise. I would say, in fact, that if you are producing something that has never been done before, you are incredibly likely to drop the ball once or twice, because you're not working from anyone else's instruction. You are, of course, going to run into issues that you didn't foresee that someone else did. Then there's the issue of things like judging, because obviously this sort of a programme is very much based on personal taste and personal artistic preference. And I do wonder sometimes, looking at the episodes that have aired so far, what exactly the criteria is. Take, for example, the recent challenge of Trash Couture. Now, for this challenge, it was Ennis and Clark who ended up in the bottom 2, along with Sammy Silver, who had dropped out So I'm not entirely sure why he ended up in the bottom 3, because if you drop out of something, you can't then be eliminated from it. That seemed a bit odd to me. Which, by the way, doesn't it sound like a children's adventure book? The Adventures of Ennis and Clark. Yes, Ennis and Clark are both based in Shanghai and Tokyo, respectively. And as a result, the things that they might connote with fashion are very different to what fashion appears in America. As is their rubbish. What you can get in your trash in America is very different to what you can get in your trash in the UK, or in Shanghai, or in Tokyo. A person could be forgiven for looking at the shiny foil-covered Hessian of the rice bags of China and thinking that they're some form of incredibly detailed heavy-duty fabric. Before the judging commenced, there should have been a strict criteria. A list of what is and isn't acceptable, what they are or are not looking for. I do not feel that was given to the contestants, which is how we ended up with the 2 contestants who looked most like they could actually appear on Versace runway during Milan Fashion Week in the bottom 2 of a couture challenge. I feel like there was some sort of a disconnect between what the contestants were asked and what the judges wanted. And those who delivered what they were asked did not deliver what the judges wanted. But those who delivered what the judges wanted, whilst delivering astonishing looks and very well-made fashions, perhaps did not deliver what lived up most to the name of trash couture. I'm not telling anyone how to do their jobs, of course. I wouldn't dream to do that, but I do wonder how much the judges are aware they haven't created. Because that's always the thing that trips you up in any creative endeavour, in suddenly realising there's a whole area that you haven't considered. That is what humans do. We rush into things, and only after something becomes a problem do we realise that it could have been a problem. And it doesn't matter how much you plan or how much you prepare, because everything eventually runs into a problem. Overall, I would not say my experience with King Me was a negative one. No, I in fact think it was quite enjoyable, and I've certainly gotten to meet people who I would never have been able to meet otherwise. And I now have a family of sorts located all over the globe, who I believe and have faith in very strongly. But at the end of the day, this is season 1. And there's a reason season 1 is always the tester season. I enjoyed my time on King Me. I am so happy that I've got to meet the people that I have through it, and that I have that as a contact forever. Anyone with a dream and a camera can make content for YouTube. Some people only have one of those 2 things and still try. I think throughout the series it's going to continue growing from strength to strength, and I wish them every luck with it. I'm sure, should they ever manage to do a season 2, it will be fantastic. But there is a process of learning from the mistakes of others that the majority of TV shows have, and the majority of YouTube channels have, that King Me did not have, because it's never been done before. Going on a lot of the comments, it's sort of preaching to the choir in that a lot of the people who are watching a Drag King reality TV show competition already know a thing or 2 about drag kings. I would argue that we don't need a Drag King drag race just yet, because we haven't had a Drag King Queen of the Desert, or a Drag King Paris is Burning, or a Drag King any film with Divine in it. The genre is king and the medium is drag. The genre has not yet got enough attention and enough cultural significance for us to be competing with each other yet. Let's not have a competition. Let's have a documentary. Let's have building each other up and examining drag across the world in all the different countries. How is drag in America different to drag in Shanghai? How is the definition of masculine different in Texas than it is in Tokyo? Let's find out all these sorts of things, because I think that's far more interesting than a competition. All in all, good luck, King Me. It's the internet, so you're going to need it. My dear, you haven't had any. Drink up.